You got someone thinking very heavily about you at this time. And I'm hearing now what? So it feels like this person didn't anticipate that they would get this far with you into a connection. And so they're placing a lot of importance on the next step in this. It may be that you have a date planned or a meetup planned, or kind of like they're anticipating your next conversation with one another. And there's a sense of almost feeling like we're at a crossroads moment with one another where we can keep just going around in the same circle that we have, or I can take that leap of faith and try to push this situation a little bit further. It feels like the kind of energy where it's not sort of like, okay, things have stagnated, so, if I don't do something, then it's all just going to fall apart. But this person is very motivated to try and almost change the pace of this connection. Like if it's been slow and steady, there's something within them that has kind of signaled now would be a really good time to kind of speed things up. So it feels like there's a lot of scripting going on at this point in time. There's a lot of playing potential scenarios out in their head as far as the next interaction with you is concerned. And there's a sense of that they're trying not to put too much pressure on themselves to like get things perfect. They want to let things flow very naturally, very organically, very in the moment, because it feels like this is something that they have a tendency to kind of like over plan, and then it doesn't come out right in sort of the heat of the moment. This has been something that has either occurred between the two of you already. There may have been periods of miscommunication or misunderstanding at like earlier points in time in the connection, and that's because they planned too much. They tried to control too much of the circumstances, too much of the outcome. And so this is a sense of somebody who has kind of like learned from those previous experiences, but they're having to kind of like honor that part of themselves that is the overthinker, that is the planner, that is the strategist, and kind of like, okay, I don't want to just walk into this situation blindly. I don't just want to be impulsive. I want to very consciously, sort of push this situation to the next level between the two of us. But I also want to give myself enough of like a grace period, or like a cushion or a bubble in some sort of way, that in the moment, if I feel myself starting to stumble with my delivery, or if it just doesn't feel like the right time or the right mood, then I'm not going to let this defeat me. It feels like on more than one occasion in this connection so far, they felt very defeated by how things turned out. Like they had anticipated things would go one way, and like a miscommunication, or maybe just you were in a bad mood, they were in a bad mood, something, and it just like it didn't go according to plan. And that's something that kind of made them retreat within themselves, made them retreat within their shell. Something where they may have been very like harsh or critical of themselves, that it's like an energy of defeat. And so there was a sense of like, I don't want to repeat that. I don't want to go down that road again, because it set us back several steps. It's like one step forward, two steps back. And so this is again the energy of somebody that's like thinking about, is this the right time to take things to the next level? Maybe be more direct about their feelings, or start to kind of show you a side of themselves that has been hidden, that has been cloaked, that has been kind of obscured, as sort of a token or an offering or a gesture that lets you know, hey, I'm not just sort of, spinning my wheels in the present moment, but that this is something that I anticipate that if I give more to you into this situation, then it opens the door to receiving more from you, and the two of us can kind of work together towards building beyond where we are at with one another. So we have, I've been fantasizing about you. So this is definitely somebody that, again, is like thinking about your next meeting, thinking about your next encounter. If you haven't been physically intimate with one another, there's a sense of like they're very nervous about when that happens. This can be somebody that's like working out in preparation for that, to try to like, get in shape, or to look and feel a little better about themselves. This can also be something where they're anticipating like your first kiss, and sort of like, okay, I want to make that right. that can be sort of this energy here of like, I'm going to kiss you for the first time. And I want to make sure that, you know, the mood is right, the setting is right. I'm right inside of myself so that we can enjoy that experience, so that it's hopefully something that leads to more kissing or more makeout sessions. You know, this person is definitely, they have developed a very rich and vivid fantasy life as far as you and this connection are concerned. And so you may notice even that, like, if you're in a shared space with this person and like other people are around, that they seem to have like a dreamy look, or that their thoughts are elsewhere, they're distracted. And it's almost like 9 times out of 10, if you're in that vicinity, if they've like caught sight of you, or you know, you're amongst other people, it feels like it's something where they can't help but kind of like go off into that fantasy realm. What would it be like to be sitting by you and holding your hand? What would it be like to kind of sneak off somewhere and have a makeout session, you know, in the midst of what might be like a work situation or a platonic situation, or you know, something where it's kind of like it wouldn't necessarily be appropriate for those, you know, PDAs, those public displays of affection, and yet their mind goes off into that kind of spicy territory. So there's a lot of importance on kind of bringing things to that level between the two of you, you know, or starting to kind of move in that direction where inevitably one thing will lead to another, accidentally or very consciously on their part, because there's a sense of like, yeah, I want to bring some of these fantasies to life. You also have be patient with me, my love. Yeah, so this is somebody that has learned from their mistakes with you so far in this situation. And it might not have even been things that you noticed as mistakes, like, but for them, it's like, ooh, I bumbled that. I just totally messed that up. I had anticipated that our conversation would play out one way, and then I said something and I was like, why did I say that? And then it totally unraveled. Something where they might have even like prepared themselves if they were going to see you in person, like, okay, I'm going to look my best, I'm going to smell good, I'm going to have, you know, my nerves are going to be together, I'm going to be confident, I'm going to be calm, I'm going to be cool, I'm going to be collected, and it's all going to go according to plan. And then the minute they see you, it's like they melt. The minute that they see you, it all sort of falls apart. And so this is something where they've had to kind of be mindful of that within themselves, and like, okay, there have been a couple stumbling blocks within our interactions so far, and they're taking personal ownership for that. But it's really kind of motivating them in terms of their strategy moving forward. Like, okay, I know what to avoid. I know that I have a tendency to put a lot of pressure on myself to be perfect in these interactions with you, or in sort of what I anticipate will be the next step forward. But I've been here at this place before where it was like, okay, now's the time. This will be the night that this happens, or this is the conversation where, you know, I start to open up about things more personally, or I start to sort of shift the tone of our interactions, or you know, different sorts of things that can indicate like a desire for more closeness, a desire for more future potential between the two of you. And the ways in which that's fallen apart, they're almost trying to look at that as sort of like lessons learned, like things not to be repeated, that is bringing them closer into the proximity of being able to kind of successfully express themselves, or successfully have all the elements kind of blend together seamlessly and as perfectly as possible, so that you have a greater indicator of like, yeah, this person is really attracted to you, they are developing feelings for you, or have developed feelings for you, there's an interest in getting to know you more, or to you know, enhance the nature of your interactions with each other. We also have, I always loved you, but I was too scared to tell you. Yeah, so this is somebody that has surrendered to the idea of like, I am falling in love with you, or I have fallen in love with you. They have definitely caught feelings for you. And it feels like this was a while ago. For some of you, this is somebody that was like a love at first sight, and they have just spent time arguing with themselves. Like, no, that's not possible. That doesn't exist. That's unrealistic. That's childish. That's, you know, what kind of basis is that for like an adult relationship in this day and age? And as much as they've tried to fight this, as much as they've tried to kind of control the circumstances and be very almost dominating in terms of whatever it is plays out between the two of you, how much they give, how much they kind of keep to themselves, they have reached this place of like, I surrender, I can't do this anymore, I can't keep putting up my wall, I can't keep putting up my guard, I can't keep resisting this. And it's like they're just going with the flow of this, like, okay, love at first sight, sure, Great, I accept that. Now what? And for others of you, this is a circumstance where it's like, okay, they have caught feelings and they may have come on quicker or stronger than they had anticipated. They can't ignore the fact that they feel very safe and yet very nervous in your presence. They're very hopeful that you will keep wanting to, interact with them. You keep wanting to get to know them. You'll keep wanting to like go in deeper with them. There's a big fear of rejection. There's a sense of like, okay, I don't think I could just unlove you or turn these feelings off if you were to push me aside or, shut me out someday. So what am I supposed to do with that? So it's like they're putting a lot of importance, on kind of like handling this situation very delicately, but at the same point in time, becoming very emboldened to do something that lets you know, like, hey, you matter. This is something that, it's taking on a life of its own. And that was very scary to me at a period in time. But now I have no choice but to go with the flow of that. We also have, I look at your pictures often. Yeah, so either they're looking at your pictures as kind of like inspiration for their fantasies, or they're looking at your pictures as kind of like, really sort of heart emojis in the eyes. Like, wow, oh my gosh, I hope this person keeps wanting to have something to do with me. I hope this develops into a relationship. I hope that we start dating. I hope that we, become closer, become intimate. I hope that to always kind of have them as a part of my life. Some combination of those things. It feels like they have very spicy thoughts about you and also very like holy thoughts about you, very innocent thoughts about you. So this is definitely not a person that is just looking to, kind of have that conquest in a sexual sense. This is somebody that is like, yeah, I want those intimate experiences with you, like who wouldn't? But I also want to have something deep, something meaningful, something emotional, something sensitive, something romantic, something vulnerable. We also have, I'm planning to take action soon. Yeah, so they got a big conversation planned, a big experience, a big encounter. And for some people, this is even like if you're seeing one another in like social settings or group settings, it might even be where like if they usually sit across the room where they can kind of just like look at you without really being noticed, this is kind of like, okay, this is the day where I'm going to take that chair right next to you. I'm going to be sitting up close and personal. This is a big step forward. It can be something like that if that's where you're at in this connection. If it's kind of just mutual crush, sort of like they're in that secret admire energy. For others of you though, this is kind of like that first kiss is coming up, that first conversation about feelings, or something that kind of lets you know they're not just in this out of boredom. They're not just here in a temporary sense. This is not just somebody that is like, well, you're the only one giving me the time of day, or there's something kind of interesting about our interactions with one another, so sure, I'll fill my time with this while it's good until something better comes along. There's something that they want to let you know. They place a lot of importance upon this. They place a lot of meaning upon you and this situation. They don't want to miss out on the opportunity to explore the deeper layers of what is possible between the two of you. And it feels like they are sensing that like this is something that can happen based on this kind of urge, not a sense of urgency, but an urge forward to like, okay, we could continue going the slow and steady route, or I could take this opportunity to, kind of pop out and surprise this person in a very obvious way or in a subtle way. But it's something where it's kind of like they see that point that they want to leap towards with you. And it's like the moment's now. I got to just throw up my hands and say, okay, I'm just going to do this and dive in head first. We also have I spy with my little eye. So they're definitely checking out your social media. They're, checking you out when you don't know that they're looking. You might have noticed this if it's something where you kind of like are in a situation physically where they're around and you're like, it feels like someone's watching me, and you kind of look over at this person and they sort of like look away and cover their face, or they just look up and pretend to be very distracted. For some, this is like they're getting ready to be very bold and like, okay, the next time this person looks over, I'm not going to break eye contact. I'm going to let them see like, yeah, I'm staring at you. Yes, I'm looking at you. This is the first step forward into the direction of like, okay, I'm going to come over and we're going to have a more personal conversation. We're going to have a chat. I'm going gonna not just leave it into this realm of mystery of like, am I attracted to you? Am I curious about you? Do you have something on your face? Is there someone behind you that I'm looking at? It's like this person wants to really make sure that it's like you understand that their eyes are like lasers as far as you are concerned. They want you to see, like, I see you at a soul level. I see you on an emotional level. I see you in a very pleasing way. You know, something about the eye contact may be very intense between the two of you. This may be something that they have even experienced very intensely, and it's like, ooh, that does something to me energetically. That opens something up within me emotionally, and that could have caused them to sort of stumble in this situation. It's like when they see you, they melt. When they see you, it's kind of like all hesitation sort of disappears, and that place of vulnerability is very scary for them. But they've come to a point of like, I just have to accept that as part of this connection or this phase of this connection. It's a gatekeeper. And in order to, you know, experience what comes next, I'm just going to have to like walk through that fire. I'm just going to have to say, okay, you know, we got this eye contact that is like the exchange of lasers, and I'm just going to have to go with that in order to kind of get into that sort of sweetness and the comfort and the sanctuary of what it is to get closer to you, to get more personal with you, to get to know you more. And we also have stop focusing on me and go after your dreams. So it feels like you are kind of a distraction for this person. They're trying not to become obsessed with kind of like thoughts about sort of what happens next, your next interaction, the next time they see you, or like a date that you already have planned. But there's a sense of like they can't really focus on anything else at this point. There's a lot of anxious energy with this, kind of like clock watching or looking at the calendar. You know, if it's sort of like, okay, a week from now I know I'm going to see this person. This is like the longest week of my life. Or in a couple of hours, if I know I'm going to talk to them, it's very hard to focus on other things that I have going on. It feels like, especially if you talk to this person like in the evenings, the end of their workday, like those last couple hours of their workday, it is excruciating. It is the worst, because there's a sense of they have reached a place within them of like, I just want to hear your voice. I just want to have some kind of interaction with you. I want to see you. I want to be close to you. I want to be near to you. And so this is definitely something which is letting them know, like, this is not just an ordinary, you know, fascination with another person. This is not just kind of like a simple crush. There's an intensity here that they are trying to learn to work with, because they don't want to miss out on the opportunity to like, okay, what's behind the door? What's on the other side of all of this? You know, that it's something that it feels like they've tried to come up with different excuses or justify this or excuse it away in a variety of ways. And they've come to this place of like, I've not experienced anything this intense before or in a while. You have their undivided attention at this particular point in time. And it's like, I need to know what this can lead to. I don't just think that this experience between the two of us is just to sort of mess with me. I don't think it's just showed up in my life to kind of, you know, break me down on various levels. I think that there's some reward beyond being like brave enough to kind of stare at the sun and kind of just walk forward into this with open arms and an open heart. We also have, I sent you healing energy today. So it feels like this person is trying to like send you telepathic messages, send you good vibes, send you like waves of healing, waves of, you know, kundalini sexual energy, all these desires, all the words they haven't spoken. It's like they're radiating that towards you. You are the center focus of their internal fantasy life at this point, as well as something that is in a more like practical and emotional level. This is somebody who's trying to make sure that like all of their faculties are in alignment. All of their different sort of centers inside of themselves are in alignment, so that when they move forward towards you, they move like a force of nature, that they're almost like that might prevent this kind of stumbling. If they become unified, mind, body, heart, and soul, with whatever this next step forward is towards you, then it's like, okay, that might guarantee that I can get through that conversation in one piece. You know, that I can actually carry through on that action that I have planned, that I can actually be very successful in kind of making it clear to this person in an obvious or even like a subtle or suggestive kind of way, like, hey, I'm into you, I like you, I've caught feelings for you, I'm curious about what happens next between the two of us if we agree to explore this together. We also have I'm seeing through the illusions. Yeah, so they recognize that it's their own fear that has held them back in this situation. For a period of time, they might have been like, well, maybe this kind of intensity, maybe this nervousness, maybe that's a red flag. Maybe it's an indicator that like it's my higher self or God or the universe, my angels trying to like protect me from a situation that would just be a lesson that would just leave me worse for wear. They've gone through the full list of excuses and they've come back around to this realization that like, no, this is a fear of the unknown, and the unknown that is most likely going to be something really yummy, really beautiful, really satisfying. So they're trying to kind of like muster their courage as much as possible, sort of put that fear on mute and listen to that more powerful voice within, which is urging them to do something more in the situation. We also have, am I deserving of your love? Yes, this person fears rejection. They fear that they're not going to like match up. The reality of them's not going to match up to this idea that they have of kind of this unity between the two of you. Or, if it's like a first kiss, it's kind of like, okay, what if it's not great? Like I'm expecting fireworks, and what if it's just silence? What if it's something that's kind of awkward? What if it's something very disappointing? So this is somebody, it feels like that once they take action, once they have that conversation, once they do that thing and it turns out really well, this is going to be like something that is going to enhance their level of confidence as far as you in this connection is concerned for a while. This is like a first step along a whole new direction between the two of you, that it feels like it's going to be just one thing after another in terms of, bold declarations, consistency. It's kind of like, yes, I made it through that gatekeeper. Now I'm going to enjoy this terrain, this new experience, this place that I've given myself access to and that you have given me access to because it's been earned. It's not just something that is like, I had this impulse, this urge to kiss you, so I'm going to act upon that. This has been somebody that has been overthinking. They've been wrestling with their own heart for quite some time. So it almost feels like it'll be a point of victory, like a Six of Wands sort of energy, whenever they have some kind of follow through with whatever this is that they want to happen next. We also have, I see a lot of synchronicity. So again, if this is somebody that kind of like ran from this connection for a while, that, was sort of doubtful or letting their fears get the best of them, or they were very courageous and then just sort of crumbled in your presence, there's something that they keep getting these urges, these nods, these symbolic gestures to kind of like get back on the horse, try again, continue to be persistent as far as knocking on that door, asserting themselves, following through on this desire emotionally and actually to experience something more with you. We also have been having flashbacks about us. Yeah, so they've been thinking about times where they stumbled in this situation, times where there was miscommunication, times where they had every intention to, sort of express themselves or do something sweet or, be affectionate, and it didn't come out as planned, or they were quiet, or they missed the moment. For some of you, this is like they had something planned and then you didn't show up. So this is something where, if this is like a coworker or somebody in a shared social setting, it was like, okay, tonight's the night, today's the day, and you called in sick, you were on vacation, you were there earlier than expected or later than expected. It was like other details got in the way, that it was kind of like, okay, what was the frame of mind that I was in? What was the energy that I was in, that it felt so perfect, yet these outside details kind of thwarted my plans? They're trying to sort of recapture that moment, recapture the essence of when everything inside of them said yes, gave the green light going forward, and they were all gung-ho to kind of like do something about it, and then it fell apart. That's kind of like, okay, let's return to that place in time so that I can move forward with that level of confidence and make sure that I don't let anything stand in our way this time. We also have, you are my lighthouse. Yeah, so they have, again, you have their undivided attention at this particular point in time. They look at you with a lot of appreciation, a lot of admiration. They see you as a very beautiful, a very magnetic person, a very exquisite human being. They love your soul. They feel that you are a very compassionate person, a very genuine person. The idea of, things progressing between the two of you in all way, shape, and form fills them with a sense of like, this could be a transcendent experience in romance. This could be like exactly what I've been looking for, exactly what I have needed, something that has the ability to be very long lasting and very mutually satisfying for the two of you. So they're like reaching for this. They're reaching for the light. They're reaching for the courage inside of themselves to bring to light these feelings and these desires for you. And we also have, I wasn't exactly ready yet, so I ran. Yeah, so again, this is somebody that on more than one occasion has had the intention to tell you how they feel, and then they backed out at the last minute. And they are very frustrated with themselves in that capacity. And so this is somebody that doesn't want to let that fear hold them back any longer. They don't want to miss the moment. They don't want to waste any more time in this situation. So now they are kind of like chasing that urge to come in closer, to express themselves. We also have I miss you. Yeah, so they are noticing that in between the times when, you have interactions with one another, or if there are times where they anticipate that they would see you and then they don't, there's been like a change of plans on your part. This is becoming very, very apparent to them that it's kind of like, okay, you have a lot more importance than I thought you would, based on where we're at with one another, or, kind of the nature of whatever's going on in this connection. And it's too much to just ignore. They can't just shut off these feelings. They can't just shut off the fact that they desire something more in this situation. They desire more consistency, more openness, more truth, more love, more affection between the two of you. And this is somebody that doesn't want to miss that window of opportunity. They see that it's here and now. They have the ability to, kind of push the situation forward to the next level. And so everything within them is encouraging them to do that. And we also have please forgive me. So this is kind of like kiss and make up energy. So for a lot of you, this is like a first kiss. This is like a really good make out session, something where it's almost like they want those kind of physical acts of intimacy to do all the explaining in a way that words would fail to do. For others of you, this is kind of the sense of like, okay, I can't just keep sitting in this energy of defeat. I have to do something. I have to redeem myself in this situation. I might have stumbled before. I might have had the best of intentions of things turning out one way between the two of us, and then it went in completely the opposite direction. But I will not be defeated. I will not back down from that. This is somebody that is kind of like summoning all their inner power, all their inner courage, all of that kind of like juicy, loving energy inside of themselves that has really bubbled to the surface thanks to you. And they're getting ready to express that in a way that will be unmistakable to you, that this is someone that wants to move in closer. They want to explore things between the two of you. You have affected them emotionally, and so they're on board with things kind of leading in that direction. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.